Hey guys, this is Makita's new 36 volt cordless track saw. I got the kit model number XPS01PTJ, which included two 5.0 Makita batteries with battery indicator and a dual bay battery charger. It didn't come with the track, but I already had this. The maximum depth of cut is 2 1/8 inch. The saw uses two 18 volt lithium-ion batteries. You do need both batteries for the saw to operate. The battery gauge doesn't work with one battery in it, and the saw doesn't run. So you need to put that second battery in. And it gives you a nice battery gauge right here, indicating what level charge you have. You can dial in your speed. It goes all the way from 1 to 5. And that corresponds to 2,500 all the way up to 6,300 RPMs. This saw features a brushless motor and it has electric brake. It stops pretty quickly. So the saw rides on these tracks and it goes on these guide rails. In order to get a nice custom fit and to get rid of the slop, there's these two adjusting knobs right here. If you tighten them, you're gonna get a more dialed in fit. And then you could adjust for back here as well. Alright, so the slop's gone, and you could tell the saw is riding on it perfectly and without any slop. This saw can bevel to -1 degree. To do that, you loosen this knob up, and there's two tabs you push in, one here, one here. You push it in at the same time, and then it'll bevel down to -1 degrees. And this saw bevels up to 48 degrees. The saw is going to move freely from 0 to 45 degrees. If you want to go up to 48 degrees, lift this up, and now you can go all the way up to 48 degrees. And then you can engage a positive stop at 22.5 degrees by turning this knob here, and then when you bevel, it's going to lock at 22.5. This track saw offers one unique feature different from the other track saws in this class, which is a anti-tip feature. So if you're doing a bevel cut, you don't want this track saw to lift up when you're beveling. So in order to prevent that, you slide this tab out to the left and it locks the saw onto the track. The saw comes with a really nice 6.5 inch ultra thin curve 55 tooth carbide tip blade. This is optimized for cordless tools, so it's going to give you a little bit longer run time with this blade. On the back here you have a arbor lock for when you're switching out the blade. This is for preventing any tear outs if you engage this. When you plunge the saw, it's going to let the saw blade only go down to give a score cut on your cutting material, and then you would disengage this and go for the full plunge depth cut, and you'll get a splinter-free cut. This button up top is to unlock the trigger. So if you don't have this engaged, the saw won't plunge and the trigger will be locked as well. This stop here is for when you do blade changes. When you lock your saw in there, the arbor nut will be exposed in this cutout window, and you'll be able to loosen that up and switch out your blade. Now, in order to control your depth of cut, you're going to use this adjusting knob, loosen this up, and set it to where you want it, and tighten it down. Now, when you plunge the saw, that's going to be your limit. So I'm going to be cross-cutting a 4x8 sheet of plywood. So that left a nice, clean, straight cut. So there's going to be a little bit of an issue for you guys that have the corded one and is upgrading to the cordless one. The issue is with the different saw blades that they use. It's going to cut your splinter guard a little bit differently. With the saw blade from the cordless saw, there's going to be a gap about a little over 1/16 of an inch gap between the blade and the splinter guard. Now in the corded version, and there's no gap between the saw blade and the splinter guard on the corded version. That's due to the smaller kerf on the saw blades. So what that means is you're going to have to replace the splinter guard and cut a new edge.